People ask me, what is the emotion code? And I'd like to explain it to you very quickly. If you look at your hand, for example, your hand looks solid, but if you could magnify that hand 1,000,000 times, you'd see that your hand is actually made of atoms. And if you could look inside of an atom, you'd see there's nothing in there but empty space and energy. And that's really what we are. We're beings of pure energy. You are a being of pure energy. Now, in your past, you've had times where you've experienced intense emotions of maybe sadness or depression or anger or resentment and frustration and so on. During those times, what happens is that we actually are feeling the vibration of those emotions. Every emotion has a specific vibrational energy and frequency. So if you're feeling an intense emotion, what can happen is your whole body can take on that vibration. And it's during those times that that energy can become stuck in your body, so that even after that event is over and you've moved on, part of that event is still with you. We call that a trapped emotion. And a trapped emotion is a little ball of energy from about the size of a baseball to about the size of a cantaloupe. And wherever these lodge in the body, they will do two things. They will distort the normal energy field of your body. And because that's all your body is an energy field, when you distort that energy field, you interfere with the body's ability to function normally. And that can cause pain. It can cause malfunction of organs and glands. It eventually can lead to serious problems such as cancer, we believe. There's another problem, though, that these trapped emotions cause. When you have a trapped emotion in the body, your body is literally feeling that specific emotion all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for years, for decades. And because of that, when a situation arises where you might tend to feel that emotion, if that emotion, for example, is anger, you'll slide right into that emotion much more readily or much more easily than you otherwise would. And so this is the reason why when a trapped emotion is removed, oftentimes it changes how people feel. It changes the emotions that tend to well up inside of them about certain people or certain events. That seems to just go away. These trapped emotions are contributing to problems like depression and anxiety and panic attacks and phobias and eating disorders and self-sabotage of all kinds, as well as being a primary underlying cause of PTSD. These trapped emotions also contribute to the high rate of divorce that we have in our world, as well as the strife and the anxiety on a larger level that happens to the world as a whole. So getting rid of these emotions is a very important thing to do, not only for yourself, but also for our planet. Hi, I'm Dr. Brad Nelson.
And I'm Jean Nelson.
We're here to tell you about the emotion code, what it is, where it came from, and how it can help you to live a life free of mental and emotional and physical symptoms. The emotion code came about during the years that I was in practice as a holistic chiropractic physician. I spent 17 years in that practice, seeing people of all ages with all kinds of mental and physical and emotional problems. And because it was really an answer to prayer, a literal answer to prayer, that got me into the healing arts, when I got into practice, I developed this habit of asking for help with each person that I saw. Now, this was a totally private, totally personal thing. No one ever knew that I was asking for help from up above, but I was. And there were times when someone would come in to see me and I didn't know how to deal with what their problem was. I didn't know how to approach it when I would ask for help, and suddenly I would be filled with knowledge about what to do and how to help them and how to look at their problem. And that's really where the emotion code came from, was asking for help from up above so that I could help my patients. As time went on, it became clear to me that this method that I had developed, or that had really been shown to me, was not just for me. And it wasn't just for my patients. It was really for the whole world. And so that's why we now have the Emotion Code book, and that's why we're here today to explain this to you. I'm so grateful for the influence that my wife, Jean, has had on the development of the Emotion Code.
There were lots of mentors along the way and lots of study too. You know, things come step by step when you're learning something new. And that was one of the things also that brought the emotion code to us, that knowledge.
In fact, one of the most powerful things that we have learned is about the heart wall. And that all started with a dream that Jean had.
Right. One night we were staying at a hotel. Brad was going to be speaking at an event. And I had this dream, and I knew when I had the dream that it was very significant to my health. And so when I woke up, I just said to Brad, can you help me figure out what this means. You know, there were some symbols in the dream and we figured them out, and we kind of had to pray about it a little bit because it just didn't come naturally. We had to, you know, really dig for the answers. As soon as we figured out the symbols in the dream and what they meant, Brad had an experience that was really mind-blowing.
When we got to the last symbol from her dream, I suddenly had this experience that I can only describe to you as a waking vision, where suddenly I saw this beautiful hardwood floor in front of me, and instead of the room that I was in, I'm looking at this incredibly beautiful floor. It's the most beautiful floor I've ever seen in my life. It looked like it had 1,000, maybe 1,000,000 coats of polish on it. It was unbelievable looking. And at the same time that I'm seeing this floor, I have this understanding in my mind that my wife's heart is underneath this floor. And so I had no idea what this meant. She had no idea what it meant either when I explained it to her, what I was seeing and understanding. This lasted for several minutes. And what we ultimately found was that when she was 2 years old, being in a kind of a volatile, somewhat dysfunctional family, she felt like her heart was going to break as a child. And so her subconscious mind put up a wall around her heart to protect her heart from being totally broken. That's what we were being shown. And in the beginning, I thought that she might be the only person on earth that has this phenomenon going on, which we now call a heart wall. We now know that 93% of people on the planet have a heart wall, because when you feel like your heart is going to break, your subconscious mind will often put up a wall, and that wall is literally made from the energy of your emotional baggage, from your trapped emotions. When that wall is taken down and that wall is removed, it can make a big, big change for people. It made a big change for you.
Right. I never felt like I was part of a group. I always felt awkward and disconnected from the world, from people. And after I had that heart wall taken down, it was just such a palpable difference. I really could tell that it was gone, because I just felt connected, like I belonged, like I was part of humanity, and it was a wonderful feeling.
But hopefully once a war goes down in history and a few generations pass, we'll be free of the trauma, right? Unfortunately, it's not so simple. Trauma can affect future generations too. For example, in a study of 100 Holocaust survivors, researchers found that their children were more likely to get a PTSD diagnosis even though they didn't report any more traumatic experience in their lives than a similar control group did.
In modern times, when someone suffers from a trauma, we have all kinds of support networks to help us work our way through and heal the suffering caused by that trauma. We have psychologists, psychiatrists, all kinds of different support groups, and all kinds of different alternative methods. In former times, the tendency was, when someone suffered a trauma, the fact that there were not so many support systems or manners or techniques to help them overcome that, what one tended to do was to repress the trauma, push it down, bury it, and try to go on with life and living as best one could. In my opinion, when someone represses a trauma, what occurs is that the content, the emotional charge, the suffering from that trauma gets placed in what I refer to as a capsule. And within that capsule also is the effects of having repressed something. When anything is repressed, there are certain imbalances created in the body, and that also has a charge and an effect on the individual. So I'm referring to today traumas that we've inherited from ancestors that may be within us and causing all sorts of different kinds of distortions, limitations, restrictions, and also often producing physical disorders and illnesses.
Because it's in your DNA.
Yeah.
And it's not just that, it's bred into your, you, regardless of how awakened you would like to think you are, we are all programmed with societal constructs. It happens all day, every day, and you even come into it genetically before you're born.
A certain amount of the emotional baggage that we have and that we carry through life is from our ancestors. Everybody that you know, you can think of as kind of dragging some suitcases behind them through life. We wonder why it's so hard for us to get ahead, and why we struggle with emotions that we don't really understand. and why it's hard for us maybe to have relationships or make money or whatever it is. And the emotional baggage that we're dragging through our lives is what's slowing us down. The emotion code is just a way to cut that baggage loose, even if that baggage is from your ancestors. And believe me, we all have emotional baggage from our ancestors.
Honestly, it's just about impossible that you don't, because you're human.
Guys, we're not therapists, we're not psychologists, we're not marriage counselors, we're not any of that. We're just energy healers. We're looking for the subconscious. Now, are there other professions there that work on the conscious brain, aka the top of the iceberg? For sure, but that's not our job. It's usually something below.
I didn't participate in The Secret for a very good reason, because I don't believe in The Secret. I think there's many secrets. And I believe the law of attraction is one of them. I've taught it for years, but it isn't. To make it like that's all of life is absurd. If all you have to do is think positively and hold it clearly, and then the secret is you'll attract your own thoughts, there are dozens and dozens and dozens of the laws in life that are also equally important. And who's to say that you're supposed to think of something and get it if everything you thought about you got, you'd be bored out of your mind. Plus, not getting what you want is sometimes the most valuable thing that could ever happen to you. Because out of that, you become deeper, richer, stronger. You open up in a different level, and now you have more to give to other people as well as to give to yourself. It's somebody who says, I had a friend that was, I was mentioning this the other day, who when The Secret first came out, he's a good friend of mine, he goes, some of the stuff you teach is more complex. This is so simple. That's what I like. It's really simple. I said, well, if you want simple, just go do it. Tell me how it's working. He said, well, I focused on green lights all the way here, and I got green lights all the way here. And I said, what are you going to do when you get red lights? You going to blame yourself? You think I'm not thinking positively enough? I said, you're going to say, oh, I'm messed up? And I said, that's just stupid. I said, you know what it is? It's like, are you saying the people that were in Auschwitz were there because they just weren't thinking positive enough and they attracted all this negativity in their life? That's absurd. We all have different life paths and different stages of our path, and each stage opens up different possibilities for us. So I'm a big believer that you have to put yourself in a position where you decide not only what you want, but who do you have to become to attract that.
You saw the movie The Secret or read the book maybe. Okay. Yeah, great stuff. A lot of truth in there. We do attract what we think about consciously, but remember, the conscious mind is only 10%. The other 90%, that's where trapped emotions reside, right? Do you think that trapped emotions maybe are sending out their own energy into the universe and attracting stuff to you that maybe you don't want? Yeah, that's how it works. See, the emotion code is kind of like The Secret Part 2. Darcy? Yeah. Okay, good. Say hi, Darcy.
Hi, Darcy.
All right, Darcy. So what's going on with you?
Sore throat, but it's directly associated with my levels of anxiety and lack of sleep.
Okay, well, come on over. So sore throat, and it's about a...
With 800 milligram ibuprofen, probably a 7.
Wow. Mm-hmm. With 800 milligrams of ibuprofen, it's about a 7. Wow. So that's pretty bad. So, all right. So here's what I found during all those years of practice. I learned to ask the subconscious mind. I learned to not try to presuppose what people had or not make any kind of assumptions. I would just ask the subconscious. And what I found was that things things are pretty much always emotionally based. Okay, now there can be other problems too, but let's ask, okay? So say my name is Darcy.
My name is
We'll get a nice baseline test, and she's strong. Say my name is Bob.
My name is Bob.
Okay, good. So she's testable. So let's look at our chart here, and let's ask, do you have a trapped emotion that we can release that's contributing to this sore throat? And her subconscious mind says what? Yeah, just like a rock. So where's the emotion? I mean, without the chart, how would you know? You could maybe intuit it if you're really intuitive, but most people aren't. This is for everybody, okay? So is this trapped emotion in column A? Your body says no. So it's in column B then. Is it in one of the odd rows in column B? Yes. Is it in row 1 in column B? It is, okay. So here we go. Is the emotion effort unreceived? Is that what it is? No. Is the emotion heartache? Is that what it is? Try that again. Is it heartache? No. Okay, is the emotion insecurity? Is that what it is? Okay, that one's very, very strong. Okay, so when you find the one that's strong in the list, you can stop because you're only looking for one. When you get the strong one, that's it, you're done. So insecurity, let's ask the next question. Okay, who gets an A? What's the next question?
We need to know more.
Bingo, yeah, do we need to know more? So do we need to know more about this? Okay, and her body says, yeah, we do. So when you ask, do we need to know more, what you're doing is you're giving the subconscious mind a chance to bring more up to conscious awareness about this. The subconscious won't release these unless and until you've identified everything that needs to be identified about it. So how old are you right now?
42.
42, okay. So let's ask, did this occur earlier than age 20? And what was the emotion again? Insecurity, right? Did this occur earlier than age 20? And I get a strong yes. Did it occur earlier than age 10? Yes. Did it occur earlier than age 5? Did it occur earlier than birth? Wow. So this one goes back a ways, right? Earlier than birth. So where was she before she was born? For 9 months she was in the womb, right? So let's find out about that. Did this occur during the time that you were in the womb? Bingo. Let's divide that time up into 3 whats? Trimesters. Did this occur in the first trimester? Did it occur in the second trimester? No. In the third trimester? Wow. This is about the only other, I've seen maybe 3 of these in my whole career where it was actually from the first trimester. They're almost always from the third. And we don't know why. Once in a while you get one from the second. Very, very rare to see them in the first trimester. I think this is only the second one I've ever seen. So, that's interesting, huh? You're special.
Pretty special.
Pretty special, yeah. So, now, knowing what was maybe the outline of what was going on with your mom, do you think it was maybe something going on with her? Or?
Absolutely. That actually surprised me. I self-diagnosed back there, and I would not have even kind of landed there. But, I was a planned abortion. Yeah.
Wow.
Which, not to say politically one way or another, but I do know that was on the docket and in the books and an appointment scheduled and.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you find out about what happened with people, and it's really interesting. So let's ask about this now. Let's ask, do we need to know any more information about this? And ready, just resist. Do we need to know more about this? And her subconscious mind says no. So what that means is it means that was her emotion, okay, that she actually developed, okay, which is amazing considering it was in the first trimester, right? So we don't need to know anything else about it. So let's release it. She's had it long enough. What do you think? Should we give her another 5 minutes or just let it go? Let's let it go. Face that way. All right, here we go. All right. Why don't you go ahead and just go walk out there for a second and come back. Take a deep breath. Now, I like to have people walk, after we release something. It's not mandatory. I mean, if you're working on someone on a table and you release something, you don't have to make them get up and walk around, okay? I don't want you to get the wrong idea, okay? But when I'm working with somebody and I clear something and they're having a physical issue of some kind, when they walk, things just kind of settle into new places and so on. So it just kind of speeds up the process. Come on back. All right. How you doing? You all right? All right. So take a deep breath and, take a swallow and come on over here so we're closer to these mics maybe. And 0 to 10, how would you rate that now?
Sounds hokey pokey, but I swear on my life, like a 2.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, I want you to think about this, okay? All her life, she has had this energy, and it's been right here. See? What else is in that area? Have you guys done chakras yet? You know, you got the throat chakra, all about speaking your truth and so on. Could that interfere with that? It certainly could, right? Thyroid gland is right in there too, see? So think about the body. The body is just an energy field, right? So when you have a trapped emotion, this ball of negative energy in there, what it's doing is it's distorting your energy field on a continuous basis. It's distorting it. Well, when you distort the energy field of the body, you're distorting the body itself ultimately, right? You're interfering with chemical reactions in that area. You know, you're interfering with the flow of energy and the meridians and blood flow, lymph flow, who knows? All of that is affected to some degree. That's why when we release a trapped emotion and that ball of energy is suddenly gone, wow, all of a sudden things can feel different right away. Yeah, you don't see these, but they're real. Go ahead.
What is it about the magnet that there's the energy?
Magnets are just a form of energy. Think about this, okay? Okay, if you take a credit card out of your wallet like this, right? And you got a magnetic strip on the back, if you rub a magnet on there, what happens? It's no good anymore, right? It's erased that data. And that's kind of the same thing. Use a magnet, it just erases that emotional energy, because it's energy.